Taking a look at the Star Wars SH Figuarts Princess Leia from A New Hope. And before we get further in the video, seriously guys, please separate Princess Leia from Carrie Fisher. One's a character, one's an actress. Please do not let your emotions cloud your judgment on future Star Wars movies. Unlike those people who saw the trailer for The Last Jedi where she says, "It's about family." There's nothing about family in that movie. It's complete garbage pile, dumpster fire. It's one of the worst movies of all time. Still, that doesn't take away that the original Princess Leia character from the original 3 movies is still awesome. And let's see how well this figure captures that awesomeness. With Princess Leia, if I were to stand Han Solo next to her, is that the height is pretty good compared to the actor's height and how they appear in the movie. And here is the SH Figuarts Stormtrooper. I've not posed him in a while. He's just been hiding in the box. So yeah, let's just take these away and focus back on the princess herself, focusing on the facial print and sculpting. It is pretty excellent. It really does look like Carrie Fisher. I think she's as close to Carrie Fisher as roughly about the Han Solo Figuarts is close to Harrison Ford, and both of them definitely look a bit more like the actors than the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker or the A New Hope Luke. Maybe not as much as the Mace Windu Figuarts, but yeah, it's pretty high up there, and she definitely looks more like Princess Leia than any of the Hasbro stuff. Even with the new facial printing that Hasbro has been doing, I would still say this is a bit more like A New Hope Carrie Fisher than the Hasbro Black Series figures. Moving around the head, you can see she has her hair buns, and those are painted pretty nicely as well. Thank God she has light colored hair, because we all know what happens with figures with bright colored hair. They become gold and just look kind of ghastly. She also has this hood piece down, which is made out of very soft plastic, so it doesn't really hinder any articulation. The coloring of her dress is, well, white for the most part. I don't know if it's just the yellowing of the plastic or something, but it's not as white as I think it should be. This plastic here is far whiter than the rest of her dress. And the spare Princess Leia Figuarts, yes, I have 2. She seems to have the slightly yellowing on the same spots of the dress, so I think that's done by design. After all, she's not had a single shower since her capture on the Tantive 4. Before we move on, let's just swap this headpiece. Oh, there goes her neck. And then put this piece on. Now this gets a little bit annoying just because it's hood up, so it's going to be a little bit harder, I think. But, it stays there. And let's just get her head back in and I'm just gonna push that down and undecapitate her. Is that in? Nope, maybe not. So I've moved that little neck dumbbell joint to the back of the head to try again. Just line that up. And then, is that in? No. Oh my God. It was slightly easier to do it. No, I'm not trying to do it from the viewfinder with my arms stretched, but I think I'm slightly annoyed that I'll never be swapping these headpieces again unless I really need to. So most likely I'm not swapping it again after this video. So yeah, so there we go. So once that's done, she still has full range of motion. And the good thing about this being like a soft rubbery plastic instead of actual cloth is that it's actually shaped and it looks proper. If this was just a piece of cloth, it would go all over the place and almost make her look well, you don't want a triangle white hood now, do you? That would be pretty bad. So I'm glad that it's that. And it looks good. From a distance, looks fine. Close up, yeah, it's definitely tells plastic, but it's good plastic. It's sculpted and molded nicely, so I can make do with that. Moving down here, these fold lines do help hide the cut of the shoulders just a little bit. And when you see her move around, you can see it doesn't hide the joints completely, but it's better than nothing. And she only has like one torso joint, but this whole dress piece is all molded properly and everything. And one thing I'll say about these is these will always be annoying since they're hard molded plastic. They're always going to have like a bit of an odd shape when you move their hands to more of an extreme pose. But hey, if you're doing toy photography or toy videos, when posing figures, that's part of the art. You gotta like hide these joints somehow. For the most part, it's okay. At least it doesn't get stuck like some of the Jedi robes do. So that's something to be mind of when posing this figure. And yeah, everyone will probably want to be curious like what kind of legs she has. She has standard Figuarts legs. So this dress is split into 3 pieces made out of very soft material. I think it's the same material with the Darth Vader cape, the original Figuarts, not the new one that uses fabric and wires. But yep, she has like white underwear, and her boots actually go up, and these are like painted. They're weathered, you know, they've just been in the garbage compactor, I guess, and it's, again, also slightly yellow, so she's got that going on. And even the legs, they don't have to be painted, but they still have a good skin texture to them, so I guess when she does that and showing a bit of her leg like in more of a natural pose, it would still look real and natural. And for the most part, the skirt sculpts are okay. The biggest downside with doing this and not using actual fabric is that, well, the princess can sit down. The figure will be constantly fighting against the dress piece, and I guess... Now, can she do a regular, like, sitting down pose? Let's just bring this rotating box in here, and let's try that. Well, she can actually pose and sit properly, but you just have to, you know, sort of be there and push the thing down. So it's possible, but you're gonna have to somehow soften up the plastic a little bit more to make her sit there on her own. Her boots are just brown. Accessory wise, apart from the sort of relaxed hands already on her body, like sort of flat palms, she also has some spray open hands, like kind of like glove hands, like if they were in a pair of gloves, slightly pushed open. Looks kind of weird, not sure what that's for. Maybe putting around her hips, like who the hell are you supposed to be? Look. And she also has a pair of gun holding hands. This holds her own little blaster as well as the Stormtrooper blaster. More on that later. She also comes with a secondary face where she's looking slightly to her left. The expression and molding is probably exactly the same, and the only difference here is the printing of her eyes. To change this out, Bandai actually was being sort of a cheapskate, because you take her sort of hair buds off like they were headphones from Spaceballs, and then you really rip her face off like in with that mass on Total Recall, and it's a really tight joint, and it's actually again very frustrating. So after this video, I'm probably never using that head ever again. So you just take a regular head or other face and put that back in, and then you just stick these hair pieces back on. The fortunate thing about these is they are quite secure and they don't feel like they are going to fall off. And yes, other accessories, of course, is her own personal blaster or stun gun. This piece there is permanently attached, you can't take that off, so it looks like a pistol with a giant silencer on it, and it's actually made out of a roughly kind of hard plastic, so this is gonna be quite easy to snap, so do be careful with this gun. As for the Stormtrooper blaster that she has, it is actually different, maybe even completely different from the one we got with the Stormtrooper. You can see here, aside from this extra bit that's clipped onto there, it's a different mold. The shape and size is actually slightly different, handlebar slightly different. Yep, this area with the ammo pack, that's different. So maybe it's slightly more refined compared to the original one. Like they looked at the details a bit more and we did it a bit. I don't know, it's just completely different. With the model kit of the Stormtrooper, you do get that pack there. So that's just something that you can detach from the model kit version, whereas, you know, the Figuarts don't have that. These are single pieces. For those who are wondering, you can remove that piece since it's just a ball joint down there, but of course you can see this figure doesn't have any gut area, so it just looks freaky. Seriousness, that also means it should be relatively easy to swap out this plastic piece with a cloth piece if you so desire. Articulation, she has a double neck joint, look up, look down, sideways, sideways, and you know, just full rotation here. Shoulders, of course, on that double joint of this piece there, hiding most of it. Now I'm just going to go, if you position it correctly, you can go up properly, full rotation here, and just slight rotation here. And she quite a lot of rotation here. Elbows go up, and there's also a rotating joint here, so she looks really weird like a robot. And hands are on a peg and swivel. Torsos on that, of course, double ball joint in there, holding the skirt up as well, giving her full articulation. And her legs are just attached to little balls up there with rotation here, single knee joint, and feet, toes go up, foot goes up, foot goes down, and everything just rotates slightly. At this scale, if you're looking for the classic original Princess Leia, this is the one to get. It is the best one out there. And the Black Series so far, at least this version of Leia, it just cannot compare. I mean, yeah, it is cheaper technically, but this figure isn't exactly that expensive either. If you just want something that looks good and looks like her, this is the only way to go. until Hasbro goes back and re-releases classic Leia with their facial printing and stuff, which will still look a bit messy with the complete fabric design of the figure. It's still gonna look off. So if you want your Princess Leia, get it now. For the time being, the price has gone lower than its original retail price, as far as I know. So this is a good time to pick this one up before maybe eventually the price will go back up. But until then, yes, good pickup. The face is decent, the whole molding, despite how simple it seems, is pretty spot on. The accessory count is decent enough, nothing's really missing, but otherwise everything in the box is quite fulfilling for a Princess Leia action figure. Leia is a good figure. If SH Figuarts was to ever release any other versions of her, I'm thinking, is this the one I keep? Do I want a Slave Leia, Endor Leia, Bespin Leia, maybe her suit when she's on the Falcon Empire Strikes Back, or Ceremonial Dress Leia, or Bespin Leia? I'm thinking all of them put together. Maybe Bespin Leia, or actually maybe the Bounty Hunter. Is it the Bosch? No. That's kind of cool as like a Bounty Hunter figure on its own, if you don't remove mass and such. Have a nice Figuarts thermal detonator, that'd be nice. But out of all the Leias, this is probably the one to keep because this is the most iconic look of the princess. This is how we remember her. So out of all the figures they could have done, it's cool that they completed for the most part the main cast of A New Hope. And it's cool that they've done the main version of Princess Leia. So yeah, if there are any other versions of Leia aside from Bossk, I probably won't pick up any of them because this is it. This is what I think of when I think of Princess Leia. As of right now, I have a video of Episode 3 Obi-Wan coming out. Of course, Count Dooku will be out soon. I did pre-order it. I've also pre-ordered the prequel trilogy Yoda. He's really cool. He comes with his actual like Jedi Council chair and everything, and lightsaber and stick and all that. Really awesome. And also a little stand for him to hop around, I think. So that's really cool. Some of the other Tamashii displays that they've done, they've got Wicked Ewok with a little tree stump. Some Jawas, those are cool. Jabba the Hutt. Those are what I want. I want those as well. And there's also a Jar Jar Binks Figuarts display out there, which I do want a Jar Jar Binks because it'd be really good in photo shoots, like the Shocker Combatman I use for Kamen Riders. It'd be nice to have like a villain or someone to just mess around with or tease in some of my figure shoots. So I hope those get released. There's also a display of the Emperor Palpatine as well. Now the Black Series one actually looks decent, I'll give it that credit, but their photos are usually photoshopped, so I don't know what the end result's gonna be like. So I do hope Figuarts one day decides that, yeah, they can release some of those as well. I am considering pre-ordering the Boba Fett Figuarts, and if I do that, then the model kits I do have, I have two Boba Fett model kits. One's I want to paint in the red and black motif, but if they release the Figuarts and I get that one, then I can paint the other one I've built into the Mandalorian, because the trailer looked quite good as well. So it looks better than The Rise of Skywalker. That looks like crap. I have no feelings for that. And the Clone Wars, it's probably be okay. I'm rambling now anyway, so if you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and you support the channel via Patreon, leaving comments, sharing this video with other people, turning our blog off, all that good stuff. As always, take care, have a nice day, I'll see you guys soon. May the Force be with you.